I thought it was really good.
Yeah, really good band. Just the fact that it didn't give away too much, so it made you want to carry on watching as well.
Yeah, it left loads of questions. I want to know what happened to make him kill himself. I felt sorry for the guy that did kill himself, although we don't know why. It's still.
He was happy at one point in the thing, and then next minute he's dead. So it's.
Yeah, and you want to know what happened to his girlfriend or whoever that was that he was with.
That she broke up with him, so he's gutted.
Yeah.
That's first guess, anyway.
Yeah, it'll probably show their relationship before everything went downhill, and then it'll show the reason why everything went down.
I can't think of any really.
No, me either. I thought it was really good.
Everything about it was good. I mean, even like the camera work, there was no like camera wobbles or anything. You couldn't see like the shadows.
The music really suited it as well.
Yeah.
Well, when we started off researching for our film, we looked at some similar film openings. We looked at Fight Club and Limitless. Both these films start off with a protagonist at the beginning in peril.
We decided to apply this to our film opening, and we found that this would apply more to the genre and the audience that we would want.
We found it might please the audience more because it might draw them into the storyline and make them more interested and want to find out what happens next.
Well, we made the film with the idea that it would be representable to everybody, so we decided to pick a matter which everyone can relate to, such as a breakup or losing someone you love or something like that. Wherever you're from, whatever culture you're brought up in, everyone understands the basic human emotions, so we decided to do that, which would obviously bring in a large audience for our film, so we decided that would be the best thing to do.
It shows what it's like someone who is depressed, though we also showed what manic depressive people what their lives are like as well, so help give people an insight into how their lives are.
Yeah, we paid particular attention to the idea of getting the happy and the sad side, which would represent manic depressives quite a lot, with the mania and then the depression. So yeah, we've done as much as we can to associate it with as wide an audience as we can. I find with the mainstream films that they don't like to express all the taboo issues such as a teenage suicide. So you can imagine it being an independent institution which would distribute our film.
Which is what the reaction we got in our audience was as well. So it might be more accessible to the audience and they might see it as more relating to them and more interpersonal maybe.
I think the way we shot it was sort of independent.
Well, we've tried to focus on a really large demographic for our film. It's male and females, and in relation to the previous comment, it's applied to everyone because it's a subject which deals with basic human emotion and everyone understands.
Maybe the 16 plus because of the relationship thing, and as what Jordan, my colleague here, said before about the taboo subjects in society.
And around that sort of age, 16, because that's when these issues will start to hit, and taboo issues circle this youth culture.
With our opening sequence, we start it with a non-diegetic dialogue, which is talked in a very depressive tone and low tone, which automatically gets people interested. It automatically gets them to want to know why he's reached that stage. And with the narrative cue of what did I do to deserve this, it makes people want to keep watching and wonder.
Yeah, maybe find out what happened, as once again what we found out when we interviewed the audience, and they were thinking the same thing, asking themselves questions, like what happens next, what's the story going to happen and stuff.
And in the first sequence again, we decided not to have an actual soundtrack because we figured that this will emphasise on the Foley sound, such as when he kicks the chair about to kill himself, and it makes the whole like video more shocking. It gives it more of an impact.
And again, I think because we started at the end and then went back to the beginning, people then want to find out like why has he done this, like who is he, like learn more about the character and like the people around him.
Well, since we started the course, I'm pretty sure none of us really knew how to use a lot of the programs well. So, since we started the course, we've learned how to use Adobe Premiere really well now, which we managed to edit our whole film on, which included the colour correction, which is on each shot you see in the film. And we've also had to apply some of the motion effects to the film, and we've had to make some shots larger so that we get rid of unwanted distractions in the actual scene.
We also use like the letterbox feature, which you can see at the top of the bottom of the screen when you watch it, and as well as the sound, we mix that to some, when we're not fading them out, we usually cut them in with the beat of the sound, so it like matches in and is a more smoother transition.
And it helps with that continuity editing.
Yeah.
It helps it feel more real for the audience and the cameras.
Like different shots and that, like
Yeah, we've learnt about all different shots. And
use establishing shots more for this.
yeah, because obviously this is a film, we've had to establish the characters before we get into it. So
Also the help of learning about the depth of field, so we can put a main focus on something in the shot, which also helps us a lot, especially with the tying of the rope.
and as well as that ties into the framing of the shot. So we've decided to go for quite unusual framing in some shots because we figured it kind of puts an edgy twist onto the film, which is what we want, because we want it to seem again more independent, but as well we want it to kind of give that edge of what's going on. We don't know, it's a bit twisted.
I think we use like more different variety of camera shots. Like in our preliminary task, we only use a certain view, where in this we have a huge, more like broad variety of shots we've used.
Also we learn about the sound. The sound is a lot more, the Foley is a lot more like better, and we've emphasised it a lot more within the shots. Also we had that very good shot when we locked the door on the preliminary task, and we learned that when we were tying the rope, we got up close and everything. It was pretty decent.
One of the main things we learned from the preliminary task was that we should storyboard our idea. So we decided to do that, and that makes it a lot easier when it came to the filming, because it only took a couple of, like maybe an hour or so.
Yeah, because we knew what we were going to do before we started it.
What we have learned since the preliminary task is, like we said, the editing on the video of the colour correction and stuff like that, the motion, and we've just learned how to make it look more professional and more what you'd expect to see in a movie.